Hi.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
Welcome, everybody. This is finally we get to talk about someone very, very special from the New Testament. We're talking about Mary, the mother of Jesus today. And I want to introduce Michelle Montalbano. I was going to ask you that before the... Anyway, Montalbano. Michelle, tell us a little about who you are and when you came to St. Margaret's and what your new career is.
Okay. So we first came to St. Margaret's to stay in 2006.
Wow.
After Aaron was born.
Okay.
Bob and I moved to Annapolis in 97 and we did our church shopping. And we came here and Mary Glasspool was presiding over the service, and it was a very long service that day.
Oh,
and
dear.
Bob knew where he wanted to go to church, and I said, well, this is it. And he said, no, the service is too long. Well, Episcopal services are the same length almost everywhere.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a baptismal service, so he said, nope, we're not going there. So that was 97. 2006 happened, and I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going back to St. Margaret's. And he said, well, okay, then we'll all go to St. Margaret's. And we've been here since 2006.
Good.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you have been.
Yep, thank you.
And your new career,
My
which
new
is kind
career.
of old your career, but all right, keep going.
No, it's a new career. I am a nurse. I just finished 3.5 years of
Wow.
education, prerequisites, and the master's program at the University of Maryland School of Nursing. And I'm now a nurse on the neuroacute care unit at the University of Maryland in
Wow.
Baltimore.
Your spare time. Wow, that's a lot.
It's amazing.
So let's talk about Mary.
Mary.
There is so much to be said about Mary, and then it is. It's she's. I'm always conflicted because of what. Growing up, I was told never to pray to Mary because that was not part of our tradition. My grandmother was a Quaker, and that was not to be done. And yet, I'm really coming to appreciate all the things that she did and herself as a person.
Yeah, so to try and get my head around Mary, I was thinking about her. We think about her most as the mother of Jesus. But then I was thinking, well, she was a person in her own right, too.
Mm-hmm.
She had a life and an existence separate from Jesus as well. So I started thinking of her as a person and what she went through in all the stages of her life. And then her role as the mother of the Christ. And then her role through history as the most exalted woman in the world.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
It is. It is. I hadn't even thought of it that way. Is a lot of what we've been talking about is, so-and-so's son, so-and-so's father, or wife, mother. When we say Mary,
she had an existence and has a place in our spiritual journey as an entity, as a power, as a spiritual woman.
Yeah. No, it's the legends grow around her. There's a whole legend of her parents, Anna and Joachim, primarily from the Dutch country, that they revere Anna and Joachim, Mary's parents. Apparently Anna may have been a virgin birth for Mary. They were an older couple. It's amazing. You're either very old and barren, or you're really young, like Mary was.
And producing. Yes.
Yeah. So you see them, and then you see the different stages of Mary's life.
So when I was thinking about Mary as a teenager and pregnant, I was wondering, we hear that she went with haste to Elizabeth. And I was wondering, all right, did Anna pack off her daughter and say, all right, you have got to go until this settles down?
Or, I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Or was it Mary who said, I am out of here, Mom, I'll see you in a couple months? Or where, how did that happen? And where was Mary in that struggle? Because it's hard enough being a teenage mother in our society today. I can't even imagine the the consequence to Mary was death, was stoning.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so off she goes to Elizabeth. Isn't it amazing how she hangs out there for almost 3 months, and then
And she was affirmed upon her arrival.
yeah, finally.
Elizabeth was happy to see her.
Mm-hmm.
The child in Elizabeth's womb leapt for joy. And just like the angel Gabriel said, "Blessed are you among women," that's how Elizabeth greeted her as well.
Mm-hmm. And then the next stage is really kind of the birth, where off she goes to Bethlehem with this man who, I don't even remember my Bible well enough. Was she actually then technically married to Joseph by that time?
I don't think we ever hear of a marriage ceremony. There's no story of a marriage.
Right. That's okay.
Maybe they jumped over a broom. And
yeah, or even the trip to Bethlehem to register in his name, in Joseph's name,
Right.
may have been an acknowledgement that yes, that's.
They were now an entity. They were now a family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. Though all those.
I don't know about your memories of labor, but I cannot imagine being on a donkey and in labor.
No.
Being in a car and in labor on paved roads was bad enough.
Yes.
But what?
And the haste that it took.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to. That was imminent for me, and yeah, riding on a donkey, and then finding nothing but a dirty old stable and a creche with a lot of hot breath. Talking about a nurse's nightmare.
Right.
How
Did
clean-
they wash their hands? Did they have sterile gauze? What?
Yeah.
Did she have pain medicine?
Right. Yeah. No
Of course
epidurals
not.
back then.
Right. Of course
Mm-mm.
not. No, she
Mm-mm.
she said, "Okay, God, I'm here, and
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to do."
Yeah. And then the next we hear is she's either going to Egypt, or when Jesus is 12 and she goes, they go to the temple and discover that Jesus has left and stayed in the temple to teach and to learn. And then the last 3 years of Jesus' death. How heartbreaking can that be?
Well, in order to process Mary's life, I have to compare it to my own life.
Fair enough.
And again, I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, so Jesus is at the temple age, right between the age of my own 2 children, and I cannot imagine losing one of my children.
You mean having them get lost?
Having
as
them
opposed
get
to
lost.
having them die.
Yes,
Right.
that is even beyond comprehension for me. But having them get lost, or the fear of not being able to find them,
I still have that nightmare.
yeah, it doesn't go away.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure it doesn't go away.
Mm-mm.
And for Mary to confront her son, who in those times was probably pretty darn close to an adult, like this, and have him respond. I wish we had the rest of the words.
Yeah.
That the rest of that exchange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's she puts up with a lot, and a lot of back talk too. It's kind of like
I was teaching, Mom.
yeah.
Oh, okay, son. You were teaching.
How typical is that for a 13-year-old boy?
I've been looking
Yeah.
for you, son.
Yeah. Where are you?
Yes.
And then at the Feast of Cana, hello, the host needs some wine. Do something. And he says, it's not my time yet. Back off.
So I was considering that also. Was it Mary who pointed out that perhaps it was his time?
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if that 18-year gap would have put Jesus at about 30,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which would have been the beginning of his public ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if Mary had something to do with that launch.
Right. At the wedding of Cana, saying, go now. Boy, I bet she resented and regretted that 3
Right,
years later.
Exactly.
It's interesting because my children are, well, my oldest is now about to be 32. And I'm thinking, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
that would be the worst.
Yep.
And the faith that took, the faith that she, from beginning to end, that whole path that she took. And if you do the numbers, if he was killed, Jesus was killed when he was 33 and she was 14, maybe. She was 47 then when Jesus died. Joseph by that time had long died, because we don't really hear from him, about him. And then she sort of evaporates, kind of, after the resurrection. I mean, thank God she was very much part of the community, the Christian community. Imagine. Yes, my son was the Son of God. Just like,
So to bring it full circle, she was an amazing
mm-hmm.
woman in her own right, then called to be the Theotokos, the God-bearer,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then had to watch her son undergo persecution and a horrible death.
Mm-hmm.
And we see her, she's presented as strong through the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Faithful, courageous, and strong. Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome, Jane.